消费。
In the past, during Double 11, we used to prepare a lot of snacks and drinks. We'd start selling from the early morning, and we wouldn't sleep until dawn, just waiting there, anxiously refreshing the data. Now, on Double 11, we finish work normally, go home and play games. Brothers, take a look at this. This is the daily shipping volume, and this is the daily return volume. What's the point of continuing to run an e-commerce business like this? It's a mess. There's no way to sell now. Double 11, what shopping festival is it? It becomes a returning festival. According to data from various sources, this year's peak search volume for Double 11 decreased by 60% compared to the same period last year. On Weibo's trending topics, the average duration of Double 11 related discussions has also dropped from nearly 8 hours in 2019 to less than 3 hours this year. Double 11 is considered a barometer of China's consumer power, and this year's Double 11 is unusually quiet, revealing a chilling atmosphere for China's overall economy. Despite the full promotional preparations by e-commerce platforms during this year's Double 11 shopping festival, it still failed to rescue the fate of a lackluster conclusion. Chinese mainland citizen. This year's Double 11 is really quiet. No one is showing off how much money they save by shopping. No one is researching money-saving strategies, and there's no need to worry about how long it will take to receive deliveries. According to data from Singtu from November 10th to 11th, the total sales of e-commerce in the mainland reached 277.6 billion yuan, a nearly 10% year-on-year decrease. However, many netizens believe that the actual situation is much bleaker than this figure suggests. Chinese mainland citizen. The main reason is that ordinary people really don't have money. Under the pressures of education, housing, medical care, unemployment, and low wages, people are becoming more rational in their consumption and shopping habits. Taiwanese senior political and economic commentator Wu Xiaolong. The shopping festival on Double 11 fell short of expectations, indicating the insufficient domestic demand in the Chinese economy. Therefore, China's economic growth momentum must shift from domestic demand to external demand. Otherwise, the inadequacy of domestic demand in China will persist. This is because the fundamental issues of unemployment and the real estate crisis have not been effectively addressed. As a result, China's domestic demand is expected to further decline. On November 9th, the Chinese Communist Party's National Bureau of Statistics announced that in October, the Consumer Price Index had a year-on-year decrease of 0.2%, and the Producer Price Index for industrial goods fell by 2.6%. This indicates that China's economy has once again entered a period of deflation. Wu Qielong. The official figures should be concealing data, and the actual situation is likely more severe than what is being reported. However, regardless, it has already been revealed. Officials are no longer using data to cover up the real situation. At least they are disclosing some information. So basically, China's economy is caught in what we call unemployment-induced deflation. The rise in unemployment reduces income and purchasing power, simultaneously eroding consumer confidence. As a result, consumers contract their spending, adopting a frugal lifestyle. On the other hand, businesses suffer a decline in revenue and profits, directly impacting them. When businesses dixted, they either lay off employees or go bankrupt, which in turn affects households and consumers. So households and businesses collide with each other, entering a vicious cycle. Now, let's take a look at the current employment situation in Chinese society. The youth unemployment rate in mainland China has reached a record high, with scholars from Peking University pointing out that official data is inaccurate. They estimate that since the beginning of the pandemic, approximately 54 million young people have become unemployed. Consequently, even in tightly controlled Beijing, numerous street markets and stalls have emerged. However, young individuals participating in these stalls have mentioned that while setting up a stall is interesting and provides a sense of freedom, it is not easy, and half of the businesses are operating at a loss. The Insight into C's Economy series of reports now turn to the employment situation in mainland China after the pandemic. In the first quarter, the youth unemployment rate in China has approached 20%, which is why Guangdong province has proposed mobilizing 300,000 young people to move to rural areas. This action has been questioned by foreign media, suggesting it might be a technical digestion of urban unemployment rates. TVBS went to Shenzhen in Guangdong and discovered that the hourly wages in many factories are only around 20 yuan, which is less than 90 new Taiwan dollars. A young man from Zhangjiang who came to Shenzhen to find a job spent half a month and still couldn't find a regular job. He despairingly told reporters that he couldn't continue staying in Shenzhen. Shanghai's economic prosperity is no longer present, with employees in deserted stores left bewildered. Chinese workers returning to their positions were shocked to find companies closed without notice, leaving them without money to return home, resulting in a widespread state of helplessness. Commentator Huang Shikong mentioned that China's real estate crisis is escalating further, contributing to a severe unemployment situation. He noted that 26% of China's economic income comes from real estate. Commentator Wang Jiming added that the site of ruins in Dongguan is visible. When factories shut down, even the iron gates rust. Many places are empty. Despite Dongguan surpassing 1 trillion yuan in GDP in 2021, making it the fourth city in Guangdong province to achieve this milestone, its GDP this year is only about 540 billion yuan, ranking it last in the entire province. A factory owner said, "This toy factory, I've been trying to patch it up," robbing Peter to pay Paul. "I've been using credit cards and online loans, even borrowing money from relatives and friends to keep it afloat. The more I struggled, the deeper the hole got. After enduring for a whole year, I just couldn't hold on anymore. Everything is overdue? Now. I can't sustain it anymore. It's collapsing. I can't even afford the interest and penalties now. What have I been through this past year? What did I strive so hard for? Everyone wants a better life, but it's so frustrating. The effort has brought no rewards. If only a few people fail, it's an individual capacity issue. But if 80% of people fail, then what kind of problem is that? And there are workers who can't even afford to eat properly. One worker shared, "Let me tell you a fact. Maybe you won't believe it. From last night until now, I've only had 1 egg fried rice. Why? Because the conditions don't allow me to eat anymore. Eating has become a luxury for me. Why? Because I'm penniless. Why am I suddenly so destitute? I haven't earned any income for 2 years. From the mask incident until now, just when we thought we got past the mask incident, there's an economic downturn and I can't make any money." Another laborer said, "I earned a little over 200 yuan after working for 17 hours. To wealthy individuals, this amount might be what they spend on a late-night meal or the daily food expenses for their pet, perhaps a dog. No wonder some people say, 'In my next life, I'd rather be a rich person's dog than a human.'" A netizen named worker Lao commented, "I want to tell you something very real. In every industry, whether it's the service industry or any other, the consumer base is always the laborers. It's the laborers who drive all economic consumption. Take this industrial park as an example. If there were no factories, how would the surrounding shops make money? Who would the street vendors sell to? Who would the delivery workers deliver to? The wealthy people wouldn't buy delivery services. Delivery services are sold to the poor. So, industry is the key. Without industry, there are no laborers, no consumption driving force, and no economic development." What this person is saying makes a lot of sense because in China now, following the trend of factory closures, there is also a wave of mall closures. Shanghai is China's financial, trade, shipping, and business center. At the same time, it is an international city and the most concentrated city in mainland China for the regional headquarters of multinational companies. However, since last year, various aspects of Shanghai's economy have been on the decline, with a significant number of physical stores closing down, including large supermarkets. Taking into account the latest annual reports from Shanghai 900, Sujiahui, and New World, the performance of these three well-established department stores has all seen a substantial decline. Combining the latest annual reports of Shanghai 900, Sujiahui, and New World, the performance of these three well-established department stores has seen a significant decline. Specifically, Shanghai 900 experienced a year-on-year revenue decrease of 30.51%, with a net profit attributable to the parent company dropping by 48.95%. Sujiahui saw a revenue decrease of 22.33% year-on-year, and the net profit attributable to the parent company plummeted by 76.30%. I agree with New World's revenue for 2022 dropped by 27.7% year-on-year, and the net profit attributable to the parent company recorded a substantial decline of 174.90%. According to the report from Times Weekly, Shanghai 900, Sujiahui, and New World are situated in three major prosperous commercial centers in Shanghai Jian District, Sujiahui, and Nanjing Road. The performance of these three major department stores is a microcosm of the current challenges faced by the development of department stores and supermarkets. The annual reports disclosed by Chinese concept stocks in the department store and supermarket sector reveal that over 70% of the companies have experienced a significant year-on-year decline in net profits. According to incomplete statistics, in 2022, over 40 department stores in China announced closures, with 27 of them being well-established department stores that had been in operation for over 10 years. In recent years, traditional supermarkets represented by Carrefour China have been facing operational difficulties. The impact of the pandemic in 2022 has further exacerbated the challenges for traditional supermarkets, with reduced foot traffic adding to the pressure. In 2021, Carrefour China opened 3 new stores but closed 26 outlets. For the first 3 quarters of 2022, Carrefour China closed 54 stores and did not open any new ones. In 2021, Walmart China closed 32 hypermarkets. According to reports from Daily Economic News, Watsons, the multinational health and beauty retailer under Li Ka-shing's ownership, closed 343 stores in China in 2022, nearly 1 store per day. The performance hit a nearly 9-year low. In the first half of 2023, over 4,000 stores closed and 14 department store shopping centers went bankrupt. Chinese factories and physical stores are closing down, leaving food delivery drivers with little work. In a video, a delivery driver in China, facing financial difficulties due to a lack of orders, pleaded for more orders by calling the customer service of the delivery platform. He stated, "I only earn 70 yuan for running 3 orders in 8 hours. I spend 50 yuan on charging my electric vehicle, and I also have to rent the vehicle. What should I do? Save me. I'm about to run out of money for food. I'm going to starve." Unfortunately, the customer service representative expressed their inability to provide him with additional orders. User worker Lao said, "I am from the 80s generation, nearly 40 years old. I've spent half of my life working in factories. I can't leave the factory because I don't have any other skills to earn money. I can only rely on the meager wages from the factory to support my family. If I leave the factory, I'll be starving on the streets within a month. If China doesn't have factories anymore, it's not just me, XI, who will starve on the streets within a month. There are many people like me, XI, and they will gradually starve on the streets. This is the last cry of the grassroots people in China."